Felipe Massa has started a very controversial case against the 2008 championship. 15 years after it was discovered that the FIA and F1 knew about Crashgate but decided not to do anything about it, stripping the Brazilian from what could have been the first championship in his career. Now, the former Ferrari driver expects that things will move a bit faster as he's not willing to give up on the case, providing an update as to where things are standing surrounding the case. But could this trigger an avalanche of reactions for the 2021 championship as well? And if so, will the credibility of the sport fall down massively if the case is won by Massa? It goes without saying that the 2008 Singapore GP is one of the darkest spots in the history of the sport because of Crashgate and how Renault's evil plan has shifted the championship in general. When Alonso was leading the race due to an early pit stop, Renault instructed his teammate Nelson Piquet Jr. to crash on purpose, which then left the grid exactly how it was, as Massa lost significant positions to Hamilton, who finished third while Massa was entirely out of the points. Given the fact that the championship was decided with a 1-point advantage in Hamilton's favour over the last corner overtake on Timo Glock in Brazil, this particular race in Singapore is what Massa cannot get over with in his career, and I don't think many can blame him. Had it not been for the Bernie Ecclestone comment last year regarding the fact that both the FIA and F1 knew about the Crashgate back in 2008 but decided to not do anything about it, we wouldn't be dealing with all of the drama between Massa and the FIA. But here we are. Felipe Massa has indeed hired a professional law firm from Brazil who filed the lawsuit in London's High Court, seeking declarations that the governing body has breached its regulations by failing to promptly investigate the crash of Nelson Piquet Jr. at the 2008 Singapore GP. And if the FIA acted properly, Massa would have won the Drivers' Championship that year. The fact that the scandal saw people like Briatore and Pat Simmons banned from the sport hasn't been enough for the FIA to annulate the results from the race, and that's what pains Massa the most. And when talking about this to a greater extent, the Brazilian said that he doesn't do all of the charade right now for fame or for money. It's for bringing the trophy home. It's nothing personal against Lewis Hamilton. Furthermore, he provided updates as to where we're standing with the infamous case of the Brazilian driver. He added, "The objective is to bring the trophy home. It's not financial. We are 4 or 5 months into this legal case and things are moving forward. We are definitely fighting for justice because it wasn't fair, especially to hear after 15 years that they knew in 2008 and decided to do nothing." That was too much for me. That is why I've put together a team of professional lawyers. It is not my area of expertise, of course, but we have a big team fighting for justice and what's right, and that's what we do. Even though Massa said that this is not something personal against Lewis Hamilton, he also did state that he hasn't commented on this situation or discussed it with the 7-time world champion, who definitely will have a lot to say if his maiden championship is stripped away from him in this rather controversial way. Whether we like him or not, to see the championship be taken away in this regard is going to be an even greater dark mark on the sport compared to what happened in 2008, because it's 15 years later, and if the sport starts implementing changes for something they felt was wrong, it would open up a can of worms regarding other controversial questions and scenarios, such as the 2021 championship. Now that the sport has expanded on many continents, the popularity as well as the legitimacy will take a massive dip if they start opening up these old cases and reverting the results, whether or not they would be in the right to do so or not. Something that has been done and dusted 15 years ago shouldn't really have an effect on the champion from that year. And as I mentioned earlier, it will definitely mean that Hamilton will start his own investigation on the 2021 championship, where Massa allowed 1 lap of clean racing between him and Verstappen. From that moment on, we've seen on multiple occasions that a race can end under the conditions of virtual or full safety car, with the latest one being in Baku this year. So it just goes to show that no matter how you look at things, they are done at the moment, and if we're to change everything years after, the sport would look very silly. silly to the new coming base of fans and investors. When talking about the relationship with Hamilton and being in contact with him again regarding this matter, Massa said, "No, we haven't been in contact, but to be honest, this is not a fight with Lewis. Lewis has nothing to do with this fight at all. The fight is about what happened in the race in Singapore, which was not good for the sport. The fight is that this race should be cancelled. This is our goal." Again, what Massa says does hold an argument, but the consequences will be massive because Hamilton can also ask the FIA to cancel the results from the Abu Dhabi GP, which won't benefit him because if both of the drivers were to score 0 points from the infamous 2021 finale, Verstappen would still win the championship because he had more race wins that season. Many would say that Massa should have secured the championship earlier and not depend on it in the last race of the season. But be that as it may, everything is now settled, so it would be quite interesting to see how the sport will react to this request of Felipe, which is now slowly but surely becoming more and more serious. Even though Ferrari have taken a step back in this situation because they've found themselves in a very sticky situation, having Lewis joining them from 2025 onwards, the Brazilian driver feels like he should have the utmost support from the Maranello-based squad, as it would practically mean that he will be the last champion, not Raikkonen, who won the championship 1 year earlier than him. When talking about his expectations from Ferrari's involvement in his legal case, Massa said, "I am still expecting to be together with Ferrari and have support because at the end we lost the championship together. I love Ferrari, it is part of my heart, and I'm definitely a big Ferrari fan and will be for everything that happened during my time with the team, with the fans, the opportunities and the dreams that I had. So I definitely expect it to be on my side because we lost the championship together through the manipulation that happened." Anytime you hear about Wolff talking about 2021, he is the most supportive person. So with that, I cannot really believe that Ferrari won't be on that situation with me. For the moment, they are quiet, but I really believe they will be on my side, and I really hope that is the case because that is the correct thing for what happened to us. Even though we firmly believe Massa that what he is doing has nothing to do with Hamilton or with McLaren winning the championship that year, the Brazilian has revealed that he indeed emptied his pockets in order to return justice to the sport. When talking about how much the case has taken away from his bank account as of now, which could only go deeper because we are very unlikely to see a hearing or this case being solved anytime soon, Massa said, "The case has been ongoing for 4-5 months. I hope the correct thing happens for justice, for something that was not part of the sport that punished me big time. This is what we are fighting for, which I believe is correct, especially after 16 years and on hearing things which you never thought it was really like that." When we heard Bernie's comment last year, after that we started to put things together and we started to fight to analyse things in the professional legal way because it was not part of the sport. Furthermore, Massa revealed that he has no idea when this case will end, but stressed that he's been waiting for justice for too long, as he is ready to put the emotional stress that he's been through, knowing that he lost the championship for something that could have been banished. With all this in mind, do you think that there is a situation in which Massa can and will win the case against Hamilton? And if so, do you think that it would be the right decision from the FIA without causing massive damage to the sport's future? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, have a look at the video that's appearing on your screen right now.